Arrivals and departures, what comes and goes. We're all storytellers, once upon a time, writing memoirs, regaling friends and family, spinning seduction, dissembling, joking, making speeches, telling each other with such certainty what to do, what is right, and what is wrong. There are so many ways that we tell stories. Thus, it would appear that one of the most difficult things to do these days is to listen. There's just so much noise. The cacophonies are constant, shrill politics, pandemic alarm, the intensity of work and family, the psychology of complaint and conflict, the constant background noise of urban confrontation, the constant background noise as if there is a greed, self-imposed imposition of sound to mask the angst, to silence the restless questions and fears, and to wrap our bodies and minds in a volume of meaningless decibel, a conspiracy of avoidance and protection from a more and more incomprehensible world. If we cannot listen, then we cannot hear, and in that stasis we are paralyzed and lost. I don't think this is hyperbole. Anecdotal reports and social science studies point to new levels of anxiety and dislocation worldwide. On the surface, we fear the invisible, the virus, not just as a life-threatening disease, but also as psychological erosion of our dignity, optimism, and meaning. If ever we are to live in a disabling existential crisis, it would seem to be now. The traditional instruments of solace and renewal seem broken. The confessional, the town meeting, the trust that we have found in family and friends and shared beliefs. How can we restore ourselves? How can we mend the barriers and disconnections? The other day, depressed by such thoughts, I went down to the shore, found a place quite nearby, and just sat down, apart and alone by the sea. The physical circumstance provided a context, almost immediately, of silence and solitude. I realize how privileged this is, but if you think about it, access to water, whether by the edge of the ocean, a lake, a pond, a river, a park, a fountain, if you put your mind to it, the soothing quality of water is more available than you might think. All the great religions have water as an essential element of ritual and redemption, and the assurance of water as nurture from a stream or a well is in itself a moment of quietude and renewal. The touch, the taste, the sound, all the instruments of perception condensed into a drop, focused on a sip, a moment of feeling and hope. I sat down and listened. At first there was the natural sound of that place, the rasp of waves on the rocky shore, the cry of the gulls, the distant mowing of an autumnal field. But those things slowly dissipated in what I heard to be universal ocean music, announcing a threshold between my daily world and nature, a liminal space, a context for reflection. Meditation anywhere is a similar practice, the placement of self in a state of openness, untrammeled by the exigencies of the world, a mindfulness which in silence allows one to be acutely aware, to listen for, and perhaps to hear things unheard and helpful. This space can be evoked in many ways, in the arrangement of definition and rhythm in poetry or prose, in the simple passage of a melody, in a graceful movement, in the rendering of light across a seascape, landscape, or through a window. The engagement of the ocean with all our senses is made palpable through metaphoric connection, through an opening from chaos to harmony, from irrational to rational, from body to mind, as a place for consideration, imagination, and resolve into resilience, understanding, and access to the future. All the surrounding noise of our world is a tyranny of distraction from the real things that matter: our personal well-being, the value of family and friendship, the satisfaction of work, and the security of a community. No one is immune from this opportunity. Only the myriad combinations of circumstance, some inconceivably hard, some overwhelmingly desperate, prevent us from this discovery. Poverty, war, tyranny, virulent disease, ideological conflict, hopelessness, all the terrible things that besiege us, conspire us to keep us from this freedom. This freedom. We write our own stories. The healing power of water in all its forms and places is real and can be the wellspring of our response. If we protect anything in the name of protecting all the rest, we must understand that loss of water is a terminal action against all of us, no matter the status of our being, our place, or time. Water is life, and we waste it at our physical and moral peril. I sat down in this tide of what comes and goes, and I heard the ocean music. Thank you for listening.